International Monetary Fund has cut its global growth forecast for 2025 by 30 basis points to 2.8%, and that's on account of the uncertainty created by Trump's tariffs. The IMF has downgraded the forecast for most major economies, including the US, China and India. However, it expects India to be relatively stable thanks to private consumption. Ritu standing by with the latest as part of the IMF outlook. Ritu, so IMF cutting its growth outlook for the world on account of Trump's tariffs.
The IMF has downgraded its growth forecast for nearly all countries, citing a sharp escalation in trade tensions, which has triggered unprecedented policy uncertainty. Now, in response, it has presented a range of forecasts under different scenarios. Under the reference forecast, which is based on data up to the 4th of April, global growth is projected to fall steeply to 2.8% this year and 3% next year, marking a cumulative downgrade of 80 basis points from the January update and well below the historical average of 3.7%. The pre-April 2nd forecast pegs global growth at 3.2% for both years, while the post-April 9th model-based forecast aligns with the reference scenario largely. Now, for advanced economies, growth is seen at 1.4% this year, with a steep 90 basis point cut in the US forecast compared to the January update. Emerging markets and developing economies are projected to grow at 3.7% this year, which is also down 50 basis points from the previous estimate. Now, IMF has also cut India's FY26 growth outlook by 30 basis points to 6.2% and for FY27 by 20 basis points to 6.3%. But it says India's outlook is relatively more stable, supported by private consumption, particularly in rural areas, and the downgrade is on account of higher levels of trade tensions and global uncertainty. The IMF has also revised down its projection for global trade growth by 1.5 percentage points this year, with a slight recovery penciled in next year, while global inflation is expected to ease more gradually than earlier estimated. Now, IMF warns that downside risks dominate this outlook, from worsening trade frictions, financial volatility to rising long-term interest rates, although upside possibilities include AI-led growth engine, next-gen trade agreements, and so on. And the IMF has called for urgent international cooperation to de-escalate trade tensions and safeguard global growth.
Ritu, many thanks.